emotional acting, this has been the most intense thing I've ever done.
Stanley!
Shut up, all right? You're gonna shut them up because these guys are experienced, all right? We need to listen. We need to listen.
That day, we kind of like talked before the scene that we need a few minutes to really get into character because it was definitely an emotional scene and it's hard to just, when they say action, get into character.
In that scene where we find Wyatt, he jolts up and starts screaming at us and blaming us.
We're comforting him and we're all bawling our eyes out. And actually, that was the first time I've ever like cried, on command. Like I can cry when I'm like mad in real life, but first time I've ever cried like acting, and it was pretty amazing. I could not stop crying.
I did the scene 3 days in a row, so that means I cried my eyes out 3 days in a row. At first, like I didn't want to do it again, but then I was like, you know what, it's gonna look good, and I think it's gonna pay off.
It was a pretty emotional moment. You know, the curious thing is that it coincided with one of the last days of shoot. The feelings you see on the screen are very much what the kids felt that day, because it was one of the last days that they will all be together. You can feel the sadness and the need to be together for the last time and thank each other, and they just let it go, and they were all crying, and they were crying for real.
I talked to Ben, the acting coach, and Andy, the director, and I was like, okay, well, what if it's a role reversal where Eddie is talking to Wyatt, calming him down, and I'm at the foot of him crying, and it sort of just turned into everyone started crying.
Finn and Jack could not hold back their tears. I thought they were just trying to like stay in the moment whenever like Andy was giving directions, but they were just crying, and not until after we just hugged it out.
Once I finished that scene, I was like still crying. Me and Jack were still crying, and then the producer Seth came up to us and just gave us a big hug, and he was like, man, you made me cry and I have no heart. And so I was like, okay, that means a lot.
Feeling them all like there with me, and it was just like, it gave me a feeling, because we're all best friends. Off camera, we're best friends, lifelong friends. And just being there in that moment where everyone's crying. Also, Wyatt. Wyatt is a great actor to work with. He takes you there.
I've been in that place before. I've shut myself off from the world and just cried. But I think that was the first time they opened that door, and it's definitely hard. But I think a good hug will resolve everything.
There was not a dry tear in the room, besides Jaden, which was weird.
It was definitely a very weird and out-of-body experience.
It won't be the Losers Club, I tell you.
But yes, it will. I mean,
No, it won't.
Oh, wait, no, it won't. But we'll still be there in our hearts.
They had spent basically all the summer together, and they felt that this was going away, that this was, you know, the end of this magical summer. Also because they're all 13, I think, at that time. So it wasn't only saying goodbye to each other, but I think very much like in the book, after that summer, they were saying goodbye to their childhoods.